be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's get more into what's going on this season. Let's do that. Okay, I'll go down the line and just do a quick overview on all of the cast members. So James, to be honest, James has such a glow up. To me, James is like the Candace of Potomac, where it's like we've seen them grow emotionally and mentally. We've seen them sort of have this glow up. We've seen their careers take off. I feel like James, he's really funny and he seems to have really matured. Like the way he ate Sandoval up this episode. He ate every inch of him up. He just went off on him. He was like, yeah, it wasn't love with you and Rachel. Ariana wasn't giving you any sex, and you go downstairs and get blowies, and I'm not going to open for your band because your band is dead. Like what? Like I forgot what he said to him, everything, but I just remember James ate Sandoval all the way up, and he just looked very like pathetic and withered in a corner. And James's DJing career is off the chain. He's doing really big things and he's super funny. I feel like James has if Vanderpump Rules continues this downward spiral, I think James has outgrown the show in the sense of he should really focus on DJing and doing TikTok or something, because I feel like he's going to get to the point where it's going to be a detriment for him to be on the show. Again, with Allie, and also it seems to me like everybody on the show is bored. Like it just seems very flat. It seems very inauthentic. It seems like everybody literally is just clocking in and clocking out. Like, let me just show up, blah, 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 blah. Send me the check. Okay. Like nobody seems connected. None of these people really seem like they're friends or anymore. And they all just seem like they're in such different places in life. It doesn't make sense for the show anymore. Like, do they even still film at Pump or Sir? Are these places even open anymore? Who knows? Anyway, so that's kind of where I feel with James. I do think he's really funny. I think he's doing a great job, but I feel like he should just focus on DJing and the music and all of that stuff. Allie, again, I still think she's like an AI robot. I'm not sure if she's real. She is a sniper from the side. She's not this innocent little fairy that she pretends to be. She stirs the pot. I don't know if it's production telling her to be the bone collector, or if she's doing it for relevancy. But if you really look at it, she has done a lot of Katie said this and Lala said this and Ariana said this and blah, 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 blah. And really setting these seeds and spinning things that people said and bringing it back and causing a lot of drama, because very similar to Rachel, nobody sees Allie as a threat. Nobody takes Allie that seriously. You know what I mean? The girls don't really take Allie seriously. They don't. So they don't see her as a threat. So when she comes to them with the bone, they take the bone as if it's the truth because it's little Allie. Didn't they do the same thing with Rachel? Nobody took Rachel seriously. Nobody. And she turned out to be the biggest snake of them all. I would keep my eye out for little AI Allie. I think she has a lot more going on than, I don't know. And then she wants to be her little Taylor Swift and doing her TikToks and her music videos and all of that, her little come up. Again, I'm not going to knock anybody's hustle or dream, but it's giving opportunist. It's giving sniper from the side. It's giving Allie is not as innocent as she likes to portray. I don't think she's really that into James. I said it from jump. I see zero chemistry between the two of them. She seems to me like she tolerates him and she treats him like a dog. Like, I'm training him. He's over there in the corner. Oh, James, oh, James, oh, James. Like, I don't see any chemistry there. And when it comes to James, I feel like James just wants love, that he's willing to get it anywhere. If I was James, I would just be careful with Allie. I don't know. And then her saying to him, I don't know if I want kids. To me, that would be, we're breaking up. not whether or not not because she doesn't want kids, but because he does. And he's like, well, I don't want to do another Rachel and waste 5 years. Well, what are you doing, babe? Because it depends on where you are in your life, and where you are in your life. I don't mean age, because we're always like age shaming women. How old are you? You don't have kids. You got the times clicking. I don't mean age. What I mean by where you are in your life is, I mean by that, like where you personally are. Like if you are in a place where you're like, I'm ready to find my person. And if you want to get married, I want to have marriage. If you want kids, let's have the children. If you are in that place where you're not dating just for like fun and to hang out and for hookups, but you're actually dating for your life partner, then a year and a half in, you want children and your partner says they don't, you need to have a serious conversation about that. Or else you're going to do what he did before. You're going to spend 5 more years with the wrong person who you're not compatible with. Don't sit there in denial thinking someone's going to change and they don't. Because if somebody tells you this is what I want, this is what I don't want, it means one of two things. It means 1, they don't want those things, or it means 2, they don't want those things with you. And people will waste your time. They will have you being a placeholder. They will know in their heart that they don't want marriage, or they don't want marriage with you, and they will still have sex with you. They will still date you. They will still take you out. They will still buy a house with you. I'm looking at you, Tom Sandoval. I'm looking at you. You know what I mean? They will buy a house with you. They will marry you. I'm looking at you, Tom Schwartz. They will marry you. But they never make you happy. Never have the kids. You know, all of that stuff. They'll do all of those things knowing in their hearts of hearts they are never going to give you what you actually want or need. So if somebody says that to you, I don't want to be married, I'm looking at you. I love her, but Dr. Nicole and Anthony in Miami. When Anthony says, I don't want to be married, you best believe him, he doesn't want to be married. Now, when it comes to them, I think he doesn't want to be married. I don't think it's that he doesn't want to be married to her. I just don't think he wants to be married, right? Because that's what it means. It's either I don't want this thing or I don't want this thing with you. That's really what it is. You got to be careful because people will waste your time. And then you hear that story every single time where it's like the girl who waited for 6 years for the guy, she finally ended things with him. And 6 months later, he's married with a kid with the next chick. We hear those stories all of the time, right? All the time. So just be careful with that one, James, because I actually really like James. He's grown a lot. He's matured a lot, and he's a lot going on, and he seems to be really healthy. So I want a lot of good things with him. So we'll see. But Allie doesn't like you, James. She doesn't. You need to wake up. She's only in it for the TikTok. I'm telling you. Scheana. Oh, Scheana, Bobina. What are we going to do with you, girl? I don't even know where to start with Scheana. I feel Sheena's like a lost puppy, but I don't even know with her. I'm waiting for the headline, Scheana Shay and Brock to divorce. Not that I'm wishing that, because I don't want any karma. So I'm not wishing that on her or anybody, because I'm not putting that energy out there, because I don't want that energy back. But I wouldn't be surprised if they split. Like, I don't think anybody would be like, oh, didn't see that coming. I don't know why she was with him in the first place. I don't know. And again, I think what's going on with Scheana and the girls is Sheena's clinging to Lala, because Lala is really saying all the things that Scheana, if Scheana says, she gets dragged and she can't handle it. And also she's scared to say. So she's kind of sort of like clinging to Lala. I do think Scheana has some resentment towards Ariana, because in my opinion, Ariana is kind of being a crappy friend. You know, I get it. She's going through something hard, but at the same time, when you are asking people to step up and be this sort of like soldier for you, you're either on my team or his team, but yet you're not reciprocating that same level of friendship. Like, she's basically, the way that Ariana looks at Scheana is like with disgust. Like when Scheana and Brock came over to help her clean her house, I would be so grateful. I'd be like, oh my God, you're coming to help me. Like, thank you. Like, can I get you some champagne? You know, can I get you some lemonade? Like, let's make this like a fun day. Thank you for coming over. Ariana just stood there with like a stank face and kept like being really rude to her. And I'm like, she's showing up to be your friend. You keep saying you want your friends to help you and to rally around you. And I don't know how many people would come with their husbands to clean out your house. And you're standing there with a stank face on. Ariana was also very dismissive to Scheana when Scheana was talking to her about Dancing with the Stars, you know? And I agree with Scheana. You can be sad for yourself and also happy for somebody else. You know, like say, for example, you're trying to get pregnant and you thought you were, and it turns out you weren't. And then your best friend is like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. You could be really sad that you're not while still being really happy that your friend is. You know, it's any dream, it's any, you know, something that you want to have 100%. So Scheana's isn't being a hater. She isn't being jealous. She's being very honest and very vulnerable. And I applaud her for that. It's better than her being her usual people pleaser person type, where she just says yes to go along to get along and doesn't really say anything. And then it always comes back to bite her in the butt, because then she always ends up looking two-faced or like she's straddling the fence, because she's not being honest. She's just being a people pleaser, you know, which Scheana has done in the past. So I was good that she was saying that, because I would feel the same exact way. We have to be honest. We all would. If you had a dream of whatever it was, you wanted to be on Dancing with the Stars and that was your dream and you really wanted to do it and you were practicing for it, and then your friend gets it and your friend doesn't even tell you, you find out like the rest of the world, like you're just another fan. And Ariana could have told Scheana. She's like, oh, I had an NDA. No, you didn't, because you posted it on Instagram and your boyfriend knew, because Daniel was the one who told Scheana. Daniel told Scheana, and Scheana saw it on Instagram. So did you break your NDA when you told your boyfriend Daniel? Did you break your NDA when you posted on Instagram? No, because you had an NDA up into a certain date. And then after that date, you told the people you wanted to tell, which was not Scheana. So don't use the excuse of an NDA, because if anybody else knows about it, then clearly you weren't under the NDA or you broke it. So miss me with this whole Ariana had an NDA. Well, then how did Daniel know? You know what I mean? So I feel like, I feel like, where was I going with that? Yeah. So with Ariana and Scheana, I feel like she's not really a good friend to her. And I feel like Scheana feels that. Now, what I think is the most interesting thing about Scheana is what's going to happen with her and Brock. Because he clearly was in it, in my opinion, for a green card and for a come up and to be on reality TV and to get some money. They don't seem happy. He's called the payroll husband. We called this from jump. There's that preview where she's like, well, I thought you thought that this would be like a second chance to be a dad or a second chance to be a father. And he kind of has this like weird look on his face. This is another cautionary tale. Since we're talking about, you know, relationships and all of that stuff, this is another cautionary tale. Never date or marry or have children with someone who you're banking on their potential of what you think they could be. That is fantastical thinking. That's delusional thinking. That is living in a fantasy world. And I think that's what Scheana does. She's like, I want everything to look perfect. I'm just going to pretend everything is perfect when it's clearly not. Because if she was thinking with any type of rational brain, she never would have messed with Brock in the first place. She should have hit it and quit it. Yeah. You know, a little you up text and have some fun with him. If that's her thing, he's not attractive. In my opinion, I don't think he's an attractive person. No disrespect. I'm not talking about anybody's looks in a mean way. I'm just saying, to my personal taste, he's not my taste. Like, I don't think he's an attractive guy in that way. Just my personal taste. I'm not saying he's unattractive in general. But if that's her thing, then, you know, girl, you like it. I love it. Do you? But Brock was never, in my personal opinion, long-term serious material. Number one, you're a fan of the show. If I am a principal player on a TV show, a movie, I'm a huge influencer, whatever the case may be, I'm not seriously dating a fan who slid into my DMs. It's too, and I'm not being misogynistic or sexist. I'm just saying how I feel as a woman. I would never do that. I do think the dynamic is different when it's a man with a fangirl. I do. Maybe I am misogynistic. We live in a patriarchal system. Maybe not. I don't really care. Not in a negative way, but just how it is. I do think there's a difference between when it's a man and a woman. To me, I wouldn't do it. Fun time, knock yourself out. But beyond that stuff, Brock is who he is. He's a man who has put his hands on a woman. You know, he caught a domestic V case for putting his hands on the mother of his children. He is a man who fled the country that his children resided in. He is a man who made no qualms about not financially supporting his children, made no qualms about not emotionally or mentally or spiritually being present for his children. He literally left the country. So if you know who this person is. So then for you to flash forward 2 years, now that you're married with a kid and he's being him, which is arrogant, misogynistic, avoidant, non-supportive, a little bit of verbally abusive, probably more so. I'm just saying what we see on the show. I'm not saying physically because we haven't seen it. She hasn't said it, so I'm not going there. I'm only going by what we've actually seen. But we know he has been physically abusive because he's admitted that on the show. Now that it's you're shocked and you're like, you thought that he would want a second chance at being a dad. Who told you that, Scheana? Did you make that fantasy up in your head? Did he tell you that? Or is that a fantasy you made up? Because you need to, when you get serious with somebody and beyond marriage, having a child with someone, because that's the true life commitment, because regardless if that person is in your life or not, that person's presence and absence will always have an effect on your child. That child could never meet the father, and the absence of that father will fundamentally affect that child for its rest of its life. I'm not saying that that child can't, work through it, get some therapy, work through stuff, but I don't care. If you're being honest, the absence of a parent, father or mother, fundamentally has an effect on a child. That's just therapy 101. Fundamentally has an effect. Doesn't have to have a negative effect for life, detrimental effect forever. Absolutely not. There are fully functioning, healthy people who grew up with absent mothers or absent fathers, 100%, but they had to work through some stuff. That is just life. That is just life. So the biggest decision you make, the number one biggest decision is who you choose to have children with, because their presence or absence will fundamentally affect that child. Secondly is who you choose to marry. So be careful. Don't be a Scheana. Don't marry and have children with the potential or idea of a fantasy person when you choose to ignore all of the red flags of who the person actually is. But Scheana herself can sometimes be a little shady and grimy too. Like, remember when Brock and Scheana were going to hijack James and Rachel's engagement party and they were going to get married there? And like Lala and Tom Sandoval had to like squash it and be like, no, don't do that. That's really like, you can't hijack their moment. Like, that was really weird. And then they were trying to also get Randall to pay for like some big engagement for them because they didn't want to pay for it. So that was also really weird. So they're kind of both moving kind of grimy. And like I said before, like, people can fall on hard times financially. So I'm never putting that out there. So when I talk about people on hard times financially, it's not from a judgment place, because again, you could be a millionaire today, homeless tomorrow, homeless today, a millionaire tomorrow. Things can be fickle and things can be fast. So I'm not trying to put that out there because I don't want that coming back on me. But With that being said, Scheana talking about how during the pandemic and she's pregnant and she has no income coming in and she's worried about money. Don't you have a whole husband or fiance or baby daddy? Because I don't know when they got married. I can't remember if they got married before or after Summer was born. But don't you have a whole man sleeping next to you named Brock? Why is he not out there grinding everything he has in him to make sure that the mother of his about to be born child and his household is taken care of? You see? And then she was giving him money to do his app. She gave him like 10K and she's like, oh, we have some contract. Again, it wouldn't be me. I am a feminist through and through. But the way I define feminist is women having the choice to do whatever they want to do. That to me is the definition of being a feminist. Nobody telling you what to do. So if Scheana wants to give her man money, knock yourself out. Would that be me? Hell no, absolutely not. Never, 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 never. No, thank you. But I say that to say this. If you are in a relationship with someone and he happens to fall in hard times, but you know his character, you know the partnership that you have, you know that you have a good foundation, then yeah, of course, I would help, because you never know what happens in life. Things happen, you never know. Of course. But that's not what Scheana and Brock had. That's why I mean, if I was in her place, hell no. Because look at where they're at now. There's no problem with a woman helping out her man if they have that solid, healthy foundation, if it is a true partnership, if she knows his character, and if she knows that this is a circumstance of what he's going through versus this is the reality of who this person is. Those are two different things. If it's the reality of who this person is, which is a Brock, no, I'm keeping my money where it's at with me. If it's a circumstance of what he's going through and we have a foundation, then of course I'm going to support my partner 100%. But you have to have that level of discernment to know what you're dealing with. But now you have Scheana out here looking like a damn fool, talking about I'm pregnant with a whole man in my house, no income coming in, and Tom Sandoval has to PayPal us some money to get through when I have a whole man here doing nothing that I've already given my money to, that is now verbally abusing me on national television because the way Brock talks to Scheana like garbage, like trash, we've seen it on TV. Word on the street is he's sliding in the DMs of Australian influencers. He's out here wearing high heels every day. That's not derogatory by any means. I'm just saying you never know what's going on. I don't know. If that is indicative of his sexuality, that's fine. We're not judging that. But if you're in a committed marriage and he has those tendencies, that could be very hurtful. Not the fact that he has them, because obviously we're inclusive here and, love is love, that's fine. But that would still be a betrayal to her, regardless of who he's cheating with or not cheating with, is what I'm trying to say. So that Scheana girl, these are a lot of cautionary tales, to be honest with you. James, AI Alley, you need to give her butt the boot. Send her back to her whatever farm in Idaho she came from. Send her back. She's not the one for you. She told you to your face she doesn't want to have children. To me, I think that was just her biding time. I think what she's really saying is, I don't want to have children with you. This isn't long term. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. The moment these cameras are wrapped, I'm out. That's my assessment on that one. Tom Sandoval. To me, he just is, like I've said before, there's not too much more to say about him. He's just really sad, really just pathetic. I mean, there's nothing there anymore with Tom. I don't know why. I was never like into him like in that way at all. But like, he never seemed this pathetic to me. watching Vanderpump Rules. I don't know, maybe now because I'm like older watching it and everything that's come about, but like he was never this like weaselly or slimy, or I don't know. It just feels like the whole veil has just been dropped, and we just sort of see this sort of like weaselly, very pathetic type of person. Like all of his usual tactics aren't working. Like trying to gaslight people, it's not working. Trying to play the victim, it's not working. Trying to guilt people. It's like none of what the stuff that he usually does is working. None of it is landing. Even Schwartz is like, dude, get it together. Like, you look like a mess. Like, none of it's working. So I don't know what's going on with him. Good luck with him and his little PR relationship. Tom Schwartz. Tom Schwartz, I don't need him on my screen anymore. Like, what is the purpose or function of Tom Schwartz? I do like his new girlfriend, Sophia. She's cute. She's a vibe. I like her. She's like a little influencer chick. I like her. She's cute. Let's talk about him and Joe, because that's really interesting. Now, do I feel bad for Joe or Kaylee? I think her real name is Kaylee, but she goes by Joe now, so I'll just call her Joe. No, because number one, you're lying. And number two, I don't buy the act. I don't buy the act, and she's a liar. So on those two things, I don't like her. And I'll break down what I mean by that. What I mean by I don't buy the act is this whole like, oh, I'm just so goofy and weird, and I have ADHD, and I have all these things going on. Girl, bye, stop, shush. Because I think that a lot of that is just like, I don't know, what word am I looking for? A lot of it is just surface distraction. I think Joe is a lot more with it, a lot more has an agenda. Lala's like, Joe's harmless. Joe's harmless. I don't know. She's not harmless. She didn't get where she is by being harmless. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. I think she knew that, Tom and Katie had just broken up. She was friends with Katie, friends with Kristen, don't text, because she was like texting Katie, like, I'm here for you, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And then go shack up with my soon to be ex-husband. No, thank you. If you are interested in having sex with a man that I am about to divorce, who I'm still legally married to, separated from, don't text me not nan thing ever in life. Ever. I don't need your condolences. I don't need your I'm sorry, girl. I don't need a thumbs up emoji. I don't need nothing from you if your intention is to go and then have sex with the man that I'm about to divorce. Get out of my face. That to me shows me the character of who this woman is. Unless you're coming to me and saying, hey, Katie, like, I know that we're not the best of friends, but we are associated, or we're friends, or whatever the case may be. They're in the same circle. Joe has been around for years. She knows Kristen. They've all been to parties together. They clearly know each other in the same circles. You know what I'm saying? They're at the same cookout. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're coming to me and you're saying, hey, Candy, listen, I know we run in the same circles, or whatever, however you want to phrase it. We're cool. We know each other. And I know that you and Tom Schwartz are about to divorce. I just want to come to you woman to woman and let you know I'm seeing him. I like him. He likes me. I'm going to move in, whatever the case is. Let me know. And this is just what I would do personally. Let me know how you want to move forward, and I will respect what your boundaries are. If you don't want to be cool with me anymore, I understand. If you want to just, be cordial, if we run into each other, a little hi, bye, cool. If you want to keep things still friendly, I'm cool with that too. But I want to know how you want to navigate this moving forward. That is what I would do if I was an idiot like Joe. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't be in that situation at all. because that just sounds messy as hell. Unless this guy was like literally the love of my life, my divine partner sent from God, unless it's like this undeniable, we are in love, this is my person, my person, my person. Unless it's that, I'm not messing with that. I'm not messing with a Tom Schwartz, Katie, cheating person that I run in the same circles with situation. It's too messy, it's too nasty. And there's literally a billion people, more than a billion people on this planet for me to go get my rocks off with. Right? So that right there in and of itself told me exactly who Joe was. What confirmed who Joe was the fact that now she's lying like we're Boo Boo the Fool, that she didn't know that Rachel and Tom Sandoval were having an affair on Ariana. She straight drove Rachel to Big Bear to hook up with Tom because she wanted to do a little double date. Well, all of them did. She was going to be with Tom Schwartz, and then Rachel was going to be with Tom Sandoval. And then for her to sit up here and be like, no, I didn't know. I thought that him and her were broken up. No, that's a lie. You knew Tom Sandoval and Ariana were together. Now, you should just be honest and say, yeah, I knew where they were together, but we didn't respect their relationship, because that's the truth of the situation. You knew they were together. You just didn't care because you didn't respect Ariana and you didn't respect their situation. And the person I blame for that is Tom Sandoval, because it should have been his job if he was any type of real man, but we know the type of man he is. If he was any type of a real man, whether or not he was having issues with his girlfriend, he would have made the situation whereas nobody could disrespect their relationship. And that's really what happened. They didn't respect Ariana and they didn't respect the relationship that she was in with Tom. That's why they felt so emboldened and encouraged to basically have this affair in plain sight and play in everybody's faces like they were. Because that is the environment he facilitated for them. But as we know, Tom Sandoval really ain't about nothing. But if he were a real man, regardless of the situation, is still going to have a basic level of respect for the woman that he's with, that he would not create an environment where any other female thought she had the right to disrespect it. But they're not dealing with real men. You see what I'm saying? And Joe is a liar. So I don't trust you. And if I don't trust you, I don't trust the act. Do I think she maybe has like ADHD or whatever she said she had? And I'm not trying to make light of that by any means at all. Obviously, you guys know that. I'm not trying to make light of it. I think that's what she said. If she said something else, or if I'm misdiagnosing, I'm not diagnosing her, but if I'm misremembering what she said, I apologize. But I think she said she had that. Okay, that's cool. You can have it. You can have whatever the case may be. But I think she's using that as sort of a facade to get away with stuff. Very similar to how Tom Schwartz is a covert narcissist, in my opinion, where he uses the like, oh, I don't know what's going on, guys. What? Oh, I just forgot, or it's just me, or I was just drunk and I cheated on you, Katie, while we were married, but I'm just Tom Schwartz and I just forgot. Oh, little. It's like they use this sort of like bumbling fool persona gimmick shtick to get away with the dirt they want to do. So I'm on to you, Joe. I'm not buying this whole bumbling fool shtick that you're doing. Do I think that's a part of your personality? Yeah. Do I think you're kind of quirky? Sure. But I'm also not buying the whole act, because you're not going to sit here and tell me that you and Tom are like just really good bros and really good friends. And then all of a sudden we find out you guys have been having this sexual relationship and you've been living with him and you treat his dogs like they're your dogs. And, you say, I love you. And then you have this sort of like panic attack when he's like, yeah, I was just using you for sex, broski, like, duh, that was what the deal was. Why did you think this was anything else? And then you sort of like have this whole panic attack, like, girl, you were clearly screwing him for over a year and a half, which is what she finally comes out and admits. Like, we were together for a year and a half. So in Big Bear, you were screwing Tom Schwartz and Rachel was screwing Tom Sandoval. So you knew what the deal was. Because there's no way now you're like having all of this, like, and it sucks because in a vacuum, I felt bad for her. Like, girl to girl, I felt bad for her because we've all been in those situations where it's just like, but wait a minute. I thought this was going somewhere, but like at 3 a.m, you tell me you love me. Like, wait, what? Like, I thought like you keeping me a secret was like our thing. Like, what? Like stupid girl stuff, right? Dating a stupid guy, whatever. We've all had those situations, whether you're the guy or the girl, where you're like, but wait, I thought this was like something. And they're like, nah, like I thought we were just like having fun. Like, no, I wasn't having fun. Like all that stuff. So like in a vacuum, like I totally felt for her. And I was like, oh my God, girl, like come over, have some rosé. We'll watch TV, we'll order pizza, and we'll like, send him mean text. Whatever, like silly girl stuff. But the fact that she is so shady, and the fact that she is a liar, and the fact that she tried to gaslight Katie, like Katie was the crazy one for being upset about her, that Katie was bullying her, and that Scheana was bullying her. Those girls weren't bullying you, Joe. They were just on to you. They were just on to you. Joe was the type of girl who was like a guy's girl. She's just one of the guys, and then she's secretly having sex with your boyfriend. But like, you're crazy for thinking something's going on because Joe is just one of the guys. Do you know what I mean? Exactly, SJ, calling her Joseph. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, they were just on to you. Katie, and I get it. Katie is going to have the wrath for anybody who she feels crosses her when it comes to Tom Schwartz. So that's why she had all the smoke for Joe, because Joe was trying to play in her face, sending her text messages and being friends with her, and then icing out Kristen, because Kristen's like, wait a minute, Katie's one of my best friends. What do you mean you're having sex with the man she is married to, about to divorce? Wait, what? Ices Kristen out. But then Katie has a lot of really great things to say about Tom's new girlfriend, Sophia, who I actually think is I think she's quite cute and really cool and really interesting. I like Sophia. And Katie likes her too, because again, Sophia didn't do anything dirty or grimy. She's just a girl that Tom is now dating and seeing, which is normal. So again, Katie gets this bad rap for being a bully and being mean, when Katie's just like, no, like, you crossed me and I'm going to cross you right back. And that's just how Katie is. And I understand that. Like, I personally wouldn't have given Joe the time of day, but I understand how Katie felt, because don't sit here and play in my face while you're having sex with the man I'm married to, getting divorced, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So Joe, I'm on to you. Like, the whole shtick, it's played out. It's boring. It's dumb. And I do think that she does that as a way to deflect and a way to not take accountability, because and you also, how that I know that too, is because it drops, because it's hard to keep up that persona all of the time if that's not really who you truly are. Because that whole goofy Joseph, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm so weird, ew, that dropped real quick when they were at the singles party, when it was Sandoval and Tom Schwartz and Joe, and they were at the singles party, and he was flirting with the girl and kissing and all that stuff. She became a very normal person very, very quickly. She was like a normal chick who was pissed off that the man she's sleeping with is flirting with another chick in front of her face, and the man that is refusing to claim her in public is now flirting with somebody in public. She became a normal girl real quick. She wasn't goofing around then. She didn't have any shtick then. She was very much like, what the hell are you doing? Give him his hat back. Like, what is going on? She was a regular chick real quick. Real quick. So yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. That's kind of what I feel about him. Lisa Vanderpump. Love Lisa. No notes for her. Are you guys watching Vanderpump Villa? I just caught up last night. It is so good. I mean, so good. It's heartfelt. It's interesting. It's funny. It's diverse in a non-icky way. Like it's it and by diverse I mean it has like, you know, black people and white people and all of that stuff, but it all makes sense. It's not, nobody feels like a diversity hire or they're just, you know, we have to get this type of person in. Like it's all very authentic and it all makes sense. And I love it. I'm gonna recap the first 5 episodes. I'm really, really into it. I think it's super, super interesting. Now, everybody is a hot ass mess. I mean, they're a hot mess, but it's really interesting and I'm really here for it. And it's different than what I thought it was going to be. Refreshingly different than what I thought. So, but we'll get into that when I'll do a second one on that one. But if you guys are watching Vanderpump Villa. Okay, so Ariana. Now, I really don't mean to bash Ariana. I really don't. That is not my intent. I'm not jealous of her. I have no venom towards her. I wish her nothing but the best and happiness. But I am who I am. And from day one, I've never liked her. Not on a personal level because I don't know these people. So none of this is personal. This is just the persona that she plays on a reality show. So me as a content creator who does commentary, this is my observation on a reality personality persona. Okay. I know you candy canes know that. I just have to say that for the random people who think this is a personal attack against Ariana. I don't know her. It cannot be personal. I've never warmed up to her persona that she has on the show, and I still can't. As a human being, as a woman, I do have empathy for her because even if you're in a bad relationship, being publicly humiliated and publicly cheated on and betrayed is really hurtful and is really sad and is very devastating. So all of the pain and all of the hurt and all the anger she has is 100% justified. And I'm not taking that away from her by any means. With that being said, I don't see any redeeming qualities in her. She seems to still be very dismissive to the girls. To me, the only people I see her genuinely being nice to is like Logan because when people tell you who they are, believe them. She said straight up on Call Her Daddy that the people on Vanderpump Rules, the girls, she was like, they don't. She was like, I don't know them. She goes, they're not my inner circle. I don't know them like that. Logan is my real friend. Like those people, right? That is the only people I see her showing real love and affection and friendship towards. She looks at Scheana like Scheana is a joke. I don't think she takes Scheana seriously at all. She's never like Lala and never will like Lala. She pretends when it's convenient, but Ariana does not like Lala. Let's be serious. Katie, she was never nice to Katie because Sandoval never liked Katie. And then look what she did with something about her. I don't think that shop is ever going to open. It basically looks like a different place now from what I saw. I got to confirm that though. You know, she was never nice to Katie. And I feel like her and Katie now are still allies because they have a common enemy, which is Sandoval, for 2 separate reasons. But I think that's an alliance out of convenience. I'm not sure that's an alliance out of true friendship. And she doesn't have to rock with these people. Like she doesn't have to. But she still just seems to have this I am cooler than you, holier than thou, I'm above it all, dismissive attitude. And it's still there. There's no humility there. And when I say humility, I don't mean that she has to not be confident, not believe in herself, not take opportunities. I don't mean kiss butt. That's not what I mean by that. Humility to me is being confident in who you are, but it's also rooted in gratitude for yourself and for others. That's to me what being humble is. Confidence in self, but grace and gratitude towards yourself and others, right? That's the humility in it. And I don't see that in her. Like the way she looked at Scheana when Scheana was like, I want to Dancing with the Stars, and you don't talk to me and all this stuff. And Sheena's basically like, please be friends with me. And she's like, yeah. And she has that little smirk on her face. I don't mean to bash her, but I got to tell you how I feel about it. And I just never got anything warm from her. I think that's what it is. I don't always rock with Katie, but there's still a warmth to her. I don't always rock with Lala, but there's a warmth to her. I don't know what it is with Ariana, but from day one, I just got this ick from her, this weirdness from her. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's not. I don't know. I just feel like, you know what it is too? I think it's also because like she came on the show and she was acting like she was better than the show, but Scheana got her on. She came on the show bassing Kristen. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're this. The whole time though, she was hooking up with Tom Sandoval, but acting like Kristen was crazy and lying about it. Then I get it, she's going to stand by her man. She lied and said, that Tom never hooked up with Miami girl, knowing full and well that he did. And then they lied again, saying that they weren't in a committed relationship when he hooked up with Miami girl once everything came out. Again, that was a lie, because the whole thing was he broke up with Kristen to be with Ariana, and they were this sort of like star-crossed lovers, and they were straight away in a full-on committed relationship. So she's still lying. And it's just like, I don't know what it is about her, but she just has this sort of, I don't know. I just don't get any warmth for her. Tay says, I saw Ariana show emotion last week. Right. But did she show emotion for anybody else, or did she show emotion for herself? Because anybody can be emotional about what they're going through. When it affects you, yeah, you're emotional because you're invested in it. But when has Ariana, other than Tom Sandoval, really shown that for anybody else? I don't know. There's just always been, there's always been a disconnect with her persona. And again, it's not personal. I don't know her. I've never met her. It's not personal. It's just whatever persona she's putting on the show. It just seems a little disingenuous for me. And I do think it's very sort of ironic, if I'm using that word correctly, that the one girl on the show that she did actually seem to show warmth to and really bring in was Rachel. But again, I think the reason why she really did that with Rachel was because Tom was spending a lot of time with her, and Tom really liked her, and Tom big upped her, Yeah. Tay says, I can name one thing when she lost her dad and Charlotte. Yeah, when she loses, her dad and her dog, she shows emotion. 100% we can. But, so I don't know. We'll see. But Ariana will be fine. I wonder what's going on with her and her boyfriend, Daniel. I think he makes his season debut this season. I think she said he won't be back next season. I wonder if they'll still be together. I wonder, like, and that's another thing. She started dating Daniel like 10 days out of Sandoval. But again, people do have those relationships where it's like it's not a rebound, or they meet someone right after a breakup and then that's their person. I always got the feeling like Daniel kind of fell into something that he couldn't get out of. I'm not trying to be mean to Ariana. I'm really not. And I know it sounds bad, but I'm really not. But it just seems sort of like they hooked up at the wedding. And then it was like, how do I get out of this? Because if I don't continue seeing her, then the world is going to hate me. But if I do continue seeing her, I could probably up my rates and get a lot of Instagram and TikTok followers and be on a reality show. So if I'm Daniel, out of those two options, what am I picking? But I want to know the origin of when they met, because I heard two different things. First, I heard that they met at her friend's wedding in Mexico right after Sandoval. But then someone said that Daniel was at Scheana's wedding. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a friend of a friend. He's sort of like in the different groups. So who knows? But I want to know more of like when they met, when everything started, because I don't care what you say. If Ariana is still acting so, one second, you guys, I have to call. Okay, I'm back. If Ariana is still acting so hurt, and again, she has every right to be. Grief comes in waves. What he did was wrong. Totally get that. But it's still a little weird that 10 days after the whole thing goes down, you are, cheated on. The entire world is erupting and everybody in the world is talking about it. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Blah, 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 blah. But a week and a half later, you are now in a full-blown relationship with a man that you're still like, I don't know, like the math isn't mathing. Something isn't clicking. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Maybe that's just because like I wouldn't be able to be in a full-blown relationship with someone 10 days out of being the Ariana in a Sandoval situation. I think I personally would need more time to heal. But that's just me. I don't know. And again, and who even knows what's the real situation between her and Daniel? Because I don't see chemistry between them. I don't. I see what I see with Ariana and Daniel is what I see with Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade. Where I'm like, blink twice if you need us to come and get you. And also someone who is in a relationship for what they can get out of it, and they're not sure how to get out of it. But then again, this is just based on photos I've seen of them. I haven't heard him speak. I haven't seen them together, obviously. His episodes haven't aired yet. But just in the photos I've seen, that's the vibe I get. That's the vibe where I'm like, blink twice, Daniel. If you need us to come and get you, you got your TikTok followers, you upped your rates as a personal trainer. You want to be rescued now? That's just the vibe I get. Because also, again, because it's not just about her hopping into a relationship with him, you also want to think about what is the level of healthiness of the person who says, yeah, that's a great idea. Because it takes two to tango, right? So it's not just her jumping in a relationship with him 10 days out. It's him saying, yeah, it's a great idea to jump into a serious relationship with a woman who 10 days ago thought she was going to marry and have children with because, she had the eggs and she had her eggs frozen. And then Tom was supposed to fertilize them to make embryos, which are children, babies, little goobers who 10 days ago thought that she was going to fertilize her eggs with this man she was going to spend the rest of her life with. So what's going on with him too? Because it takes two to tango. So as much as you would think would maybe need some more time to heal and process, not that you have to put your life on hold, but you do want to take a beat and be like, well, wait a minute. This is a lot. This is a loss. This is a crisis. This is a trauma. Maybe I need to take a beat and process this so then I can continue my life in the healthiest way possible. On the flip side of that, what person is like, yeah, you seem like a healthy partner, baby, let's go. Unless he's not in it for that. Because again, you can be in different places in your life. We're not always looking for a healthy person to start a life with. Sometimes we just want to have a little bit of fun. Sometimes we just want to waste some time. Sometimes you just, well, I don't know, who knows? There's a lot of relationships like that. On again, off again, not claiming, whatever the case is. There's a lot of relationships. There's also a lot of opportunist relationships where it's like you have a platform, you're in the public eye, I have a business. We see that happen a lot too. Just because Daniel seems like this nice guy, he might be nice, but doesn't mean he's stupid. If it's a come up, it's a come up. So, because you have to also think about what are his motives. Because I would not jump into a serious relationship. Let's take all the fame out of it. I wouldn't jump into a serious relationship with a man who 10 days prior to meeting me thought that he was going to fertilize eggs and embryos with the woman that he has been with for the last 10 years in living in a house that they bought together. That 10 days before meeting me, he thought that he was going to have children with this woman that he's been with for a decade, and they have a house and dogs with. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's a situation. Sign me up. That sounds like a good guy for me to be with now. I would be like, it depends on where I'm at in life. If I'm like, hey, you want to have some fun? Take your mind off things. Hey, sure. Why not? Get your rocks where you get them off. But I wouldn't be like, yeah, you seem like a candidate for someone who I want to start building my life with. That's just me though. But you never know. So that's kind of where I feel with Ariana. But Ariana will be fine. She's going to be as born cool and unbothered and mean and pretentious and icy as she wants to be. And I can still have compassion for her for what she went through, because regardless if I think that her personality leaves a lot to be asked for, I do think that what happened to her was wrong. And I do have compassion for that. Bad relationship or not, nobody deserves to be lied to and cheated on and played for a fool on a private level, let alone a public level. So I do have a lot of compassion for her with that. I really do, because that sucks. And regardless of her not being a girl's girl, nobody deserves that. Okay, Lala. Lala, like I said before, I think Lala is literally just trying to save the show and keep her bag and keep her 15 minutes. I think that she will probably join the Valley next season. I do think the Valley will be renewed, and I do think Lala will join it. Whether or not Vanderpump Rules is canceled, I'm not sure, but I think Lala will want to join it. She just bought a new house. I think it's like a $3.1 million house in the Valley. So there's that. Where is Lala getting all this money from? And also, where is Tom Sandoval getting all of his money from too? Because if you think about it, Lala bought a house in Palm Springs a couple years ago, right? I think 2 years ago at this point. Bought a house in Palm Springs. That's a cute coin. Now she bought a $3.1 million house in the Valley. That's a cute coin. Where's all this money coming from? I know Bravo's checks aren't that big. And is it the Send It to Daryl merch? Is it the Give Them Lala beauty? Is it Randall's fraudulent, allegedly, money that maybe he's giving her? Because people who cry broke but buy 3.1 million mansions, I always kind of look at you kind of sideways. Are you just saying you're broke? And are you just saying Randall doesn't have any money because of his legal issues? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, and again, I'm not trying to count anybody's coins or money, even though it kind of sounds like that. But since they put it in the public, they put it in the public foray. we can comment on it because it's, public fodder. But I I just kind of feel like, where is all this money coming from? Because that's easily 5 to 6 million in the last 1 to 2 years. However much her home was in Palm Springs, plus a $3.1 million home in the Valley, that's a lot of coin, you know? So I don't know where it's all coming from. I mean, good honor, but hey, let it roll in. And then also, where does Tom Sandoval get all his money from? Because think about it. He is sending Scheana thousands and thousands, because I guess he sent her like a cute coin in the pandemic. He gave the 10 to 12K for James's engagement party. He bought the sword that was signed by like some actor for Jax. He's always like throwing like parties and events and costumes and themes, and then he's clearly bankrolling Tom Sandoval and the most extras. Then he has the house with Ariana. Then he has the Schwartz and Sandy's. I know he got like a 250K loan from his mom, but I thought that went to the restaurant. Like, that's also a lot of money. Like, where are they getting all of this money from? I mean, maybe the endorsements are really good, but they're spending a lot of money. And then Tom Schwartz is always crying broke. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to count anybody's bag because I don't want any bad financial karma coming to me. I want to keep it nice and clear and flowy. But it is interesting to think about because a lot of them cry broke, but yet they're spending big money. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Also, Ariana just bought her house for 1.6 million, which is cute, good on her, so she can like move and have her peace and have her space. And again, when it comes to the house, I said it before, but I'll say it again. I agree with Ariana on that. I wouldn't move not nan toe out of that house until I was good and ready and I had everything that was mine. I wouldn't move nan toe out that house. Tom Sandoval could go leave. If he's so upset with her staying, he can leave. And him being like, oh, Ariana, she's just doing this to be petty. She said before that she would, I could buy her out and she would leave and all this stuff. And what? Like, shout out to Miss Wendy Williams. I'm a woman. I'm allowed to change my mind. I would double down if I was Ariana too, because you're not going to be out here playing in my face, cheating on me, making me look like a fool, and then put me out when my name is on this house and I put my money in this house. Hell no. Absolutely not. Not today. So good for her. I would have stayed too until I was good and ready to go. And I'm not going to, because why should she put herself out to make him feel comfortable? On that point, I rock with Ariana all day long because he's the one who messed up. If he is the one who is so up in arms, he can leave. He can get an Airbnb. He could find a new house. He can go. Why does he get to be the one that gets to be comfortable and she has to be the one that has to be put out? On that front, I would double down with Ariana every single day on that one. Every single day. Yeah. So with Lala, I feel like she's just trying to keep the show going. I think she's going to the Valley next season. So that'll be interesting. She's pregnant. I'm happy for her. Sending lots of love to her and her baby girl on the way. It's very cool. She's definitely doing a sponsored campaign with Cryo Baby. That's why every single episode, it's all about the sperm donor, and the guy is doing basically like a TED talk about sperm and all that stuff. I'm not mad at it, Lala. Get your coin. If you can get maybe that's how she bought that $3.6 million mansion. Maybe it's with that Cryo Baby money. Who knows? But get your coin, girl, and congratulations. And that's a good storyline for her, because that's another thing about Vanderpump Rules. It's all dry. Like, what do these people really have going on that we are invested in. Like Lala having a sperm donor, that's cute, that's sweet, love to see it, but whatever. Katie all of a sudden pretending to be a lesbian, miss me with this fake storyline. Let's talk about Katie. Justice for Katie. I just feel like Katie gets a bad rap all the way around. Like Katie can never win. Katie can never win. Poor Katie. She now has to pretend to be a lesbian on the show, or bisexual rather, and competing with Tom Schwartz for this weird young girl, Tori. I don't know who made that executive decision. It's weird. It's really weird. I think it's a lie. I think it's fake. I think it's all for storyline. Anytime you have James in the confessional giving like the plot points, you know that's a producer storyline. James is like, oh my gosh, you guys, well, this is what's going on. So Katie and Tom, who were married, who are now divorced, oh my gosh, now they're hooking up with the same girl. What? And he did that whole confessional thing. I'm like, yeah, that's a story the producers made or somebody made. But I don't care about that. Being bisexual, I'm tired of Bravo exploiting sexuality for shocks and value. And it's only the women's sexuality that they usually really exploit. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I do feel bad for Katie. I do think she's unhappy, but in the sense of like transition and mourning and grieving, you know, she had just like, and that's another thing where I think Katie privately, not publicly, because she's scared to publicly say anything against Ariana, but privately, and along with Lala and Stassi as well, even Scheana, when those type of girls, those types of women, the difficult women, the bitchy women, the beautiful woman, the woman who, whatever you want to be, whatever attributes that you would give a Lala or a Stassi or a Katie, even a Scheana, not so much, but like it's a little different for Scheana, but Scheana we can add into. Any of those types of attributes for women, when men cheat on them, the narrative is they deserved it. Who cares? You had it coming. All of that, when they go through all of these hard things. And I think that's a big reason why it's really hard for them to rally around Ariana, because when a woman like Ariana, who I don't see her this way, but I think a majority of people see her as sort of like long suffering with Sandoval, and she doesn't really ruffle feathers, and she doesn't really have a personality of her own. And I see her that way. She doesn't really have a personality. She doesn't really rock the boat. She's kind of cool girl who kind of like goes with the flow. When something happens to her, then all of a sudden she becomes this sort of martyr for everybody who's ever been wronged in the world. And she's like this perfect victim for people. And she gets all this sympathy and she gets all this grace. But nobody had that for Katie when Katie got an actual divorce. And Katie was actually cheated on when she was a whole wife. And I get people don't want to get married, but they're still in serious relationships, 100%. But if we're being honest, in our society, there is a difference between being in a long-term relationships versus being a married husband and wife. It is a difference. Point blank, period. I'm not saying one is better than the other one, but they are different. And nobody really had that much love for Katie when Tom Schwartz was cheating on her while they were married. In fact, when it was, and I get that they were separated, but they were still legally married. In fact, when Tom Schwartz was hooking up with Rachel, they literally cheered him on while Katie was there. So Katie is sitting there. Her still legally married husband, who she's going to get divorced from, separated, is making out with Rachel in Mexico at Scheana's wedding, and everyone is cheering him on. But you know what I mean? Like, they didn't give an F about Katie. Whether or not you like her or not, that's horrible. And that's pretty much how Katie has been treated this entire time. She had to literally move out of her house, sell her house, move into an apartment, and start over as a divorced woman. And people still give her so much crap and they have no grace for her. But yet, Ariana, when Tom is hooking up with Rachel, now it's like the biggest thing in the world. And oh my gosh, and I can't believe it. Like, what? They weren't even married. Long-term relationship, I get it, but they weren't married. It's crazy. And people act like Tom Schwartz didn't do anything to Katie. Where was the uproar when Tom Schwartz was cheating on Katie when they were married? People would laugh about it. They'd be like, oh, Tom is just like wasted. They would laugh about it. How would you feel if you are married to a man? And I get it. She should have left him. I totally get that. But let's just say you are married to a man who repeatedly cheats on you and your friend group finds it funny. Your friend groups literally laugh and have jokes about the fact that your husband gets drunk and cheats on you. But you're the problem when you get mad. Oh, you're so angry, Katie. You're tequila, Katie. You're bitter, Katie. You're miserable, Katie. Well, yeah, you think? In the same way Katie should have left, Ariana should have left. You know? Exactly, Tay-Tay. When Schwartz threw a drink on Katie. Exactly, SJ. Hey, SJ says they said Katie deserved it. Exactly. Same thing happened with Lala. You know, but because Lala is beautiful, because Lala was with Randall and they had this image of him being this powerful producer in Hollywood and all this money and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, she shouldn't have been with him because he was in a relationship. I totally get that. But Ariana was also messing with Tom when he was in a relationship. But because Tom is Tom Sandoval, and sure, he's spending this money here and there, but Tom doesn't really have big money like that. Ariana's cute, but Lala's beautiful. And Lala has an edge, she has an attitude, she's confident, she's whatever, you know, she's brassy, she's this, she's that. She's intimidating to a lot of people, particularly women. You know, we're going to keep it 100 here. Beautiful women who are confident, who's not afraid to say, my man has money, this, that, and the third. That's very intimidating. That's very off-putting. So when something bad happens to this person who is also a human being, people say she deserved it. She had it coming. But when a person like Ariana, who quite frankly did the same exact thing Lala did, except for with a man who had less money, because I truly believe that if Ariana was with a man like a Randall, who had influence and power and money, and she was being spoiled with Range Rovers and mansions and shopping sprees and all that stuff, if the same exact thing happened, I truly believe she would not be getting this martyr, perfect victim, godlike treatment. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If Tom Sandoval was someone like a Randall, they would treat her the way they treat Lala. You deserved it. You were just effing him for money. You're just a gold digger. You're a home wrecker. What did you think was going to happen? They would have treated her the same way, because in our society, when a woman is beautiful, confident, who she is, and she's with a man who has status and money and power and clout, unfortunately, there is this sick thing in us as humans. Everybody has this part of us that gets pleasure in watching somebody like that being taken down a peg or two. Who did she think she was? She got what she got. She deserved it. You know what I mean? When you see somebody like that and you see them taken down a peg or two, our human ego gets a little satisfied. We get a little kick. We get a little, you know, it feels like, yeah, who did she think she was? Blah, 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 blah. Like, you look at even Tom Sandoval, he seethed with jealousy with Lala. He literally seethed jealousy with her because she was dating Randall and she's beautiful and she was getting money and she was getting Range Rovers and cars and shopping and all that. He was so jealous of her. But Tom Sandoval is always jealous of women. He was jealous of Stassi. He was jealous of Lisa Vanderpump. He's a jealous man who is jealous of women all of the time. But in our society, we get a little bit of satisfaction out of people being knocked down a bit. But when you get somebody like an Ariana and a Tom, someone that's more easily identifiable with, you see more of yourself in that person, then it's easier to become enmeshed in what they're going through. And you almost get, you're almost playing out your own trauma through them. Like, you're almost getting your own vindication through them because it's easier to identify with a person like Ariana than it is with a person like Lala for like the everyday person. Because I promise you, if Sandoval was a Randall, Ariana would not be on Broadway. She would not be having the Lifetime movies. She would not be getting all of the brand deals. She wouldn't be blowing up the way she's blowing up. She wouldn't be the face of this and the DSW shoes, because it didn't happen for Stassi. It didn't happen for Kristen. It didn't happen for Lala. And the same thing happened to all of those women. They all were cheated on and treated horribly by the men that they were with. All of it. But the one woman who got shot up to stardom was the woman that people identified with the most. You know? So that's what I feel about that. But I want to know what you guys think. You know, what do you think about the state of Vanderpump Rules? Is it a wrap? Is it over? You know, is it time to sort of throw in the towel and let it go? Or do you think, no, maybe we do a reboot, maybe we get some fresh people in? I don't know. I think it's time to maybe just like, let's just put it to bed. I think it's okay to let some things go. I think it had a great run. I think this should be the last season. And I think that the people should just go and do other projects and bigger and better things. I don't think we need a Vanderpump Rules reboot. Maybe we just need like a new show. Everything doesn't need to be rebooted. It's okay to just let shows go and just come out with new shows. Trust me, there are millions of people in this world that would make great talent. So let's get some fresh people. So let me know what you guys think. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So we were supposed to do the Valley tonight too, but I've been talking for 2 hours. So I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and share. But if not, I'm going to go through your candy cane questions and comments, and then we can do the Valley tomorrow, since we did 2 hours of Pump Rules. Hey, Adam. Hey, Adam. Hey, Tay-Tay. What is up? Oh, hey, you guys. Hey, Barbara.